Football demands that you show up for your city, for yourself, but most of all, for your team. Every single fan, player, and community, all in. The XFL is built on new fields of opportunity with more passion and more possibilities and even more at stake. We welcome anyone with a dream, with the drive to make them real. It's time to rise up. You know what the XFL stands for. Now, which team will you stand behind? Arlington Renegades, DC Defenders, Houston Roughnecks, Orlando Guardians, San Antonio Brahmas, Seattle Sea Dragons, St. Louis Battlehawks, Vegas Vipers. Together, we are pushing football forward. Together, we are tomorrow's league. Welcome to the XFL.
What is up, my friends? We are live. Welcome to another edition of the XFL Week in Review. I am your host, Mark Perry, just making sure my microphone is okay here. Seems to be a little faded. Stand by as this loads. Welcome to another edition of the XFL Week in Review. I'm your host, Mark Perry, editor of XFL News Hub, your spring football media guru. It has arrived, my friends. Yes, it has arrived. That's it, Quantcast. Yeah, HyperX. All right, we're good. Seems a little low in the volume. Okay. How about that? Better? All right. Anyways, what is up, my friends? Welcome to a special Halloween edition of the XFL Week in Review. We were not going to go live. We figured it was Halloween. It was probably going to be a quiet day. I would just do a recorded one. But as what happened over the weekend, XFL dropped its names and logos. We're going to have your reaction to all that. You just heard from Danny Garcia talking about the names. The XFL is here, my friends. I am wearing, if you're not watching on the YouTubes, I am actually wearing the old DC Defender gear with the shield. It is no longer. It's the D and the C. We'll get into that stuff. We have Mike Mitchell ranking. Now we're going to break down all of the logos and get your reaction. I want to hear you if you're on the chat, if you're on the Facebook, or you're on the YouTube. Let us know your favorite and least favorite logos. I always have my family pick the logos of the businesses that I do, of the websites that I create, because I always pick the one that no one else likes. It's just kind of always the way it's been. So, but I like you. So we've got that, plus draft news and a bunch of other stuff. Season ticket news. We are a jam-packed show today, plus we get all your social media stuff. So remember, if this is the first time watching, if you like football, then like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get this to 60 likes. Make sure you hit that notification bell and get alerted anytime we have, like today, when we had breaking news with the XFL launching its logos at 8 a.m. Eastern, which was kind of very cool. So you get alerted. We get all the new content and all that good stuff. So we've got that. Your reaction, that's what this show is all about. It's not about me. It's about you. So we got some other cool video tips, your phone calls, all that good stuff. So if you want to be part of the show, it's very simple. Just email podcast@xflnewshub.com with your thoughts, or record an MP3 or video on your phone. We'll play it on next week's show. Leave a voicemail, 888-430-7692, extension 3. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We always appreciate that. We will read it on the show. We're on Stitcher, Audible, Player FM, Amazon Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. We are live. Watch XFL Week in Review live at 8 p.m. Eastern every Monday. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Yeah, I was not planning on it until all that news dropped. I was like, I have to do a live show now. Totally. And the XFL timeline. This is updated, my friends. This is new, based on some reporting that we had going on today. So first, November 15th, 2022, the XFL assignment. This is according to a report from ESPN. The QBs will learn the day before the draft where the QBs will line, whose team. How close is Mike Mitchell's reporting because, this is all fluid. We'll get into that. And then, so that November 15th is going to be a huge week. So you get your QBs, then you get the draft is the 16th and 17th of 2022 is the XFL draft. Then we got November 9th. Training camp begins, and February 18th, 2023, the XFL season begins with your Defenders, your America's team, leading the charge to win the championship. I predict the championship will be played in Arlington, Texas. We are 109 days from kickoff of the XFL. Do you believe that? I believe that. It's been crazy. A lot of news this week. So let's just enjoy your Halloween. We'll get you in and out. Maybe you're walking the kids around for Halloween, depending on where you are, and you're just going to tune in, check it out. You got Monday Night Football tonight as well. But huge news from the XFL really took us all surprised about the cadence of how things always get released. It's always kind of on a Tuesday or Wednesday, but I think it's go time. And we got an alert a couple of days before that from Russ Brandon, the XFL president, saying things are going to be rolling too. Just real quick before we get into the show, I was actually in Jacksonville, Florida for the Georgia Bulldogs versus the Gators game, and had a good time there. My wife was there. We were there with some friends. So if you saw a guy walking around with an XFL hat, the only one in the whole stadium, that was me. So I had a great time. Love St. Augustine. Love that Jacksonville area. Looking to eventually the XFL News Hub headquarters to be in Florida somewhere. I'm thinking that is the spot. However, it was kind of funny. I had a guy on the plane say, "Oh, you're with the XFL," and I said, or something about the XFL, and I said, "Yeah," and he said, "Oh, well, my son worked for them for a month and got laid off with no severance package." And I think he was kind of pissed at me. So the guy that was on the plane, and we couldn't talk. He was wearing a mask, and we were all sitting down. I actually don't work for the XFL. I cover the XFL. So if you were mad at me that your son I asked him his name, and I couldn't hear it because things were just so busy. But yeah, so if you're listening out there or your son listens to the show, I didn't fire your son. It didn't have anything to do with me. I just report. XFL News Hub. We are different from XFL.com. So I had nothing to do with it, which was kind of weird. But that's my story. All right, so here's the deal. We're going to run down the whole logo names. If you haven't heard, I'm sure you have, but we got a complete rundown on that. We're talking about the XFL QB assignments in the draft, the season ticket notification, Danny Garcia and Jerry Cardinale out there talking XFL. We've got that. And Mike Mitchell, the superstar, the man, the myth, the legend, the XFL insider, the GOAT of XFL reporting. Mike Mitchell will break down his rankings. We'll see what you guys think of your ranking as well. So without further ado, folks, let's just get into the week that was the XFL. The XFL 2023 team names and logos has been revealed. The long wait is over. The 3.0 era begins. And so let's just get right into it with the first team, your Arlington Renegades.
Arlington, we're back. Because this great state was made flat for one reason: football. And in the Lone Star State, we'll do things our way. With a team that walks with swagger and defiance in their stride. Fearlessness at full throttle. These are your Arlington Renegades.
Next up is America's team. That's right, your favorite team, your DC Defenders.
The XFL is back in the district. Here to unleash the dreams football makes possible with grit, sweat, and courage. Because in the DMV, it's all about one thing: power. It's where the bold meets the brave, and when called, they rise. These are your DC Defenders.
Next up is a team that's had issues with their logo in the past, the Houston Roughnecks. If you remember the Roughnecks and the NFL, they thought it was too much like the Houston Oilers logo. But now we have the new look to the Houston Roughnecks.
H-Town, are you ready? Because the XFL is back, bigger than before, with a team that's just as driven as they are determined to work harder, longer, faster, stronger. We don't wait for success, we'll drill it. These are your Houston Roughnecks.
Orlando, welcome to the XFL. We are happy to have you here. Now, you took the New York Guardians names, and interesting about this one is it looks basically similar to the New York Guardians. So, welcome to the XFL, the Orlando Guardians.
This is Orlando, and the XFL is here to unleash the dreams football makes possible, changing the way you experience the game. Let's dig in these trenches. Be ready to ruin, to ambush, to leap to your city's defense. These are your Orlando Guardians. Welcome to the XFL.
So you had a team in the AAF, and now you join the XFL. The third team in Texas, the big state of Texas, is now the San Antonio Brahmas, kind of like the Brahma Bull with the Brahma Bull with what the Rock's got cooking.
San Antonio, it's time. At long last, a professional football team will rep your city. The XFL is here to unleash the dreams football makes possible, changing the way you experience the game. With a team ready to dive headfirst into any challenge, and one that refuses to be tamed. These are your San Antonio Brahmas. Welcome to the XFL.
Same team. With a little tweak to the name, the Seattle Sea Dragons are back. Remember, they used to be the Seattle Dragons, but now, with a little twist, the Seattle Sea Dragons.
Attention, Seattle. Are you ready for the calm to meet this storm? Because the XFL is back with a team born from the depths, riding the tides, lurking in the fog, ready to unleash their reign of fire. These are your Seattle Sea Dragons.
Cacaw is the law. The St. Louis Battlehawks are back, and really, they didn't change much to the logo at all. It pretty looks similar to the 2.0 era logo, but Seattle, St. Louis, relax. Your Battlehawks have returned.
Attention, St. Louis. The XFL is back, bigger than before, unleashing more passion for the game and new dreams of football. With a team ready to soar above the rest, ready to attack when their time comes, and ready to declare that Caw is the law. These are your St. Louis Battlehawks.
The final city on the New Kids on the Block tour for the XFL really is Vegas, the Las Vegas Vipers, taking the Tampa Bay Vipers name. Welcome to the XFL, Vegas Vipers.
Heads up, Vegas. Football is coming to your city, and we are going all in. The XFL is here to unleash the dreams football makes possible, changing the way you experience the game. Because when opportunity knocks or danger approaches, we don't flee, we fight. And we are ready to strike. These are your Vegas Vipers. Welcome to the XFL.
So today, the XFL released its team names and logos for the 2023 season. We had a nice little package there from ESPN putting it out there, featuring ESPN's Laura Rutledge. You can shop at the limited edition team merchandise today at noon Eastern time on XFL Shop, and plus you can get your season tickets are available for the XFL at xfl.com/tickets. Starting prices are range from $20 to $25 per ticket. That can't beat that. So today on Halloween, the XFL revealed the brand identities, names, and logos for its 8 teams as the league prepares for its season kickoff on February 18th, 2023. Featuring both new and returning team names, each market has a dynamic logo and distinct team identity that aligns with its community's culture and history. Taking the field for the XFL, of course, Arlington Renegades, Houston Roughnecks, San Antonio Brahmas, St. Louis Battlehawks, DC Defenders, Orlando Guardians, Seattle Sea Dragons, Vegas Vipers. Quote, "We could not be more excited to unveil our new team identities. Countless hours of creative sessions and corroboration went into bringing these team brands to life. Each team's identity represents the fabric of their local community while also embodying the XFL's vision and ethos. They are authentic, dynamic, modern, and unapologetically bold, said Danny Garcia, chairwoman and owner. We can't wait to see our XFL fans representing their favorite teams for this upcoming season, close quote. We also have from DJ Dwayne Johnson, quote, every one of these logos has a unique energy, intensity, and electricity that each team and their fans will bring on game day. Now is their time for our fans to get behind their team and wear these logos and represent their city with pride, owner Dwayne Johnson added. From the start, Danny, Jerry, and I have wanted to deliver our fans nothing but the best, and it is motivating to see our creative vision come to life. We have our cities, our team identities, and our rock star coaches. Now we have to get to fill our rosters with hungry and deserving players that will wear their uniforms with XFL pride. Russ Brandon, president of the XFL, added, quote, the team names and logos are a result of a diligent work and tireless collaboration between the league marketing team, ownership, and our creative partners. This is the moment where our brand comes to life and our shared vision becomes reality for our cities and fans everywhere. We couldn't be more excited by what we have built, and there is more on the horizon, close quote. As previously announced, the XFL Arlington City and Choctaw Stadium as its new football hub operations. The hub will consist of a centralized performance facility and multiple practice venues for preseason and in-week training for the league's 8 teams. This hybrid hub model provides players access to full-time on-site support from coaches and athletic training staff while still developing team affinity and community relations within their local markets. Much different model than how the USFL does their thing. Earlier this month, the XFL finaled all 8 teams, coaching and football operations staff as the 2023 season approaches. The coaching staff will continue to actively scout potential players in preparation for the XFL draft in November. The XFL will kick off on February 18th, 2023, in partnership with its exclusive broadcast partner, the Walt Disney Company and ESPN. And of course, you can get your season tickets and follow them on social media. They have a kind of the quotes that came from the videos, talking about the Renegades, Defenders, all that stuff. You can check that out on xflnewshub.com. So what do you think, fans? You finally got the XFL team names and logos for your cities. I don't think there's a dud in there. I actually think they're all excellent, and I'm very excited. I think I like them all. I have no issues. Let us know what you think in the comments.
The XFL has news been coming out quickly over the last several days. XFL fans got a nice Halloween surprise with team names and logos not released. But in a per ESPN, we also learned more about the XFL QBs in the 2023 draft. Quote, what's next? Assigning 16 quarterbacks to its franchises, 2 per team, on November 15th, followed by the draft, which will take place on November 16th and 17th at the UFC Apex in Enterprise, Nevada. So first, it looks like on Tuesday, November 15th, we'll learn which QBs are assigned to which team. A month ago, XFL insider Mike Mitchell reported the following potential player assignments. First, we got Jawan Pass with San Antonio, De'Ara King, yes, with your America's team, DC Defenders, Brandon Silvers with Houston, Steven Montez in Seattle, Jalen McClendon in Las Vegas, Drew Plitt in Arlington, Ryan Willis, Go Hokies, St. Louis, and DeAndre Francois in Orlando. QBs could change as the XFL evaluates the position and adds new names to the list. The XFL recently dropped the following names, some new and some no longer on Mike's list. This happened a couple days ago. The XFL is evaluating the following QBs at the upcoming Jordan Palmer minicamp. Caleb Ellerby, Jared Guarantano, De'Ara King, Jalen McClendon, Cole McDonald's on the list, Steven Montez, Jawan Pass, Anthony Russo, Brian Scott, Brandon Silvers, Carson Strong, Khalil Tate, and Ryan Willis. Notice DeAndre Francois, for example, is not on that list anymore. But that could mean nothing. It could mean something. It's just kind of something to keep an eye out, my friends. Now, what's new about the XFL draft is the location, something Mike Mitchell had reported, as well as something Arlington Renegades head coach Bob Stoops actually referenced in an interview weeks later, after Mike Mitchell did. We knew the XFL draft was going to be somewhere in Las Vegas. Now we have the exact location at the UFC Apex in Enterprise, Nevada. What the heck is UFC Apex? It is a live event and production center operated and owned by the Ultimate Fighting Championship. You got to remember the venue has hosted some fight night events, but space is limited. We know with ESPN's relationship with the UFC that they host and broadcast the events from that. With the ESPN's relationship with the UFC, they could host and broadcast the event from that venue. And of course, the location is not too far away from the Las Vegas airport either. Now, the question is, plus, The Rock loves the UFC. So, between the synergies of both brands and Dana White and ESPN and The Rock and UFC, you kind of see where we're going here. Now, the question for some XFL superfans is, will it be open to fans? We have no official word from the league as of yet, but it does not seem likely. The good news, though, is that because this venue basically has everything it needs, it's kind of like the fan control football arena where everything it needs to broadcast live is in one location. This venue has the same things, which would make sense of why they wanted to go here in Las Vegas, something that had all the equipment there that they could just broadcast live from. Didn't need to take up a studio and wherever and have it something in Las Vegas. So I think that's why they're wanting to do that. So the good news is we could possibly get a live broadcast of the XFL draft on ESPN. Maybe it happens at night or in the afternoon. Who knows? Something that the XFL 2.0 era did not do. They didn't have an event. They just kind of had it on streaming on YouTube, which was fun to do too. Got a ton of traffic from that day. So why hold the event there if you're not going to broadcast something live? Just something to keep in mind. We'll have to find out. Exciting times ahead, my friends, for the XFL. That draft is going to be off the charts. And if it is broadcast anywhere on ESPN, that's going to be huge. The one thing is, but the team names, you thought maybe that they would be kind of a different kind of rollout. I think everything had to be, in a press release on one day, dropped, I think because of Hurricane Ian, but we'll find out as we go to events and trying to get official a word or insiders behind the scenes word from the XFL. XFL news coming in fast. They send out season ticket notifications. So a day before, we heard from XFL President Russ Brandon letting fans know that things were about to get rolling for the XFL. Then the next day, the XFL sent out notifications to season ticket holders who submitted their deposit. Quote, nothing beats the sights and sounds of a football game, a nonstop, action-packed, and electrifying event to share with friends and family. A conversation for the rest of the week and an experience that stays with you. The XFL's exciting football will allow you to experience football like you've never experienced before, and your desire to be there when we take the field and feel those moments has brought us together. This is just the beginning. The time has come to select your seats for the upcoming XFL season, kicking off in February 2023. As a past season ticket member and a current deposit holder, you have the highest priority and first access during our seat selection process. So fans will begin to start selecting their seats on November 4th. Season ticket sales start for the general public on November 16th. So you see what they're doing is letting the early adopters get in on there, and then the interest is going to be hot and heavy November 16th for the draft, and that's really what they're banking on to get a huge flood of interest, because right now we're still in the NFL season, and they're hoping that that draft is going to just drive a ton of traffic. Season ticket members start with saving off on single game ticket price. Opportunity to purchase same seats for the playoffs. Cool. Exclusive season ticket member experiences. 20% discount on XFL Shop. Cool. Access to purchase annual team fan merchandise. Like that. And this is the difference that kind of last time that, if I recall, there are two levels of season tickets. There's a silver and gold. This is what the DC team's tickets prices look like. So they start from season tickets for $20. A 5-game package is $100, or you can go all up to $200 is when you hit the gold level, all the way to $675 for a 5-game package. So you're talking over a grand. I mean, that's if you want to do like the client access, all inclusive food and all that kind of stuff, which is all really cool too. I would love to do that, but we're just going to stick with the price per game of the $200 5-game package for us. Now, the one big difference between the silver and gold is some exclusive access, priority access to exclusive season ticket member team and coach events, i.e., town halls, chalk talk, press conference, and exclusive content and access. So that's what you get. Nothing about any kind of NFT stuff. Haven't heard the league say anything about that. So relax, you VCR having people, when you freak out when you hear about that. So there you have it. So XFL team logos, everything is out now. And now is your chance. You could still put in your deposit now before everybody gets to do that November 4th. So be on the lookout. Now, the prices are very differently in different locations. I know like St. Louis and some of the other ones I see that instead of a $40 price per game, there was a $45. That's kind of where the range hits, anywhere from $20 to $25 seems to be the cheapest in most locations. So fans, if you're hardcore and you're watching this show, you're definitely hardcore. You're part of the XFL News Hub. Definitely get out there and get your season tickets. XFL co-owners Jerry Cardinale and Danny Garcia talked XFL at an Axio event in New York City this past week. They held the inaugural Dealmaker Summit in New York City called Axios BFD. Jerry Cardinale, founder, managing partner, and chief investment officer of Redbird Capital Partners and co-owner of the XFL, along with Danny Garcia, founder, CEO, and chairwoman of the Garcia Companies and TGC Management and co-owner and chairwoman of the XFL, both spoke about the XFL together at this event. And this was basically most of them talking about the XFL. Garcia was asked about getting involved with the XFL and her vision for the league.
I saw an opportunity to take this football universe and wrap it around with layered storytelling, bring it closer to the audience, invest in the athletes even more, bring more technology, and make a property and extend it as if it was a live IP. And when I called my partner, Dwayne Johnson, I said, hey, I want to buy the XFL. This is a crazy idea, but let me tell you why everything we've done in our life has led to this moment. He said, absolutely.
For Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Danny Garcia, this is really their most significant project, which she reiterated in that interview that you just heard. Jerry Cardinale was asked if the XFL is a minor league for the NFL, something that fans kind of question all the time. Let's listen.
Let me just say, there's no need for a second NFL. However, there is a need for a development organization for the NFL on player development. One of the things that I learned is there are 53 players on an NFL team. 53 to 75 could have easily made an NFL team. There's just only 53 slots. So you ask yourself, is there a value proposition we can actually put an NFL quality product on the field, but make it more entertaining? And you have the two best people in the world. If you want to create a live event entertainment company rooted in legitimate football, this is how you do it.
So clearly, if this was an interview run by XFL insiders, we would have asked a lot of different questions. But overall, based on the interview, fans should feel good about the league and feel that it's in good hands. The interview lasted almost 25 minutes, 30 minutes. A lot of ranging questions, stuff that we've already heard before. Those are that's some of the meat of the thing. Now, Cardinale did mention they have learned from their past mistakes of other leagues and bring that knowledge to the XFL 3.0. They feel between their front office team and partners, they have a winning combination. Hence why fans were like, well, you guys did this before. Why aren't you doing it now? Why is it taking so long? Whine, whine, cry, cry. Because that's what people do on the internet. This could be the reason why. They learned from their past mistakes, didn't need to spend a whole bunch of money to start off with, took their time. You get the idea. Now, we'll find out soon as everything. We got a local activation events this week. We've got the team names and logos come out. The draft is taking place November 16th. So there's a lot of momentum as we build towards the 2023 kickoff in February. Who does not like a ranking list of team names and logos? So why not go to the GOAT, Mike Mitchell, and have him rank the XFL 2023 team names and logos? As always, leave your thoughts in the comments because we want to hear what you think. So the XFL has finally and officially revealed their team names and logos for the upcoming 2023 season. It's rather fitting that the league would unveil its new branding on Halloween. For some 2020 XFL loyalists, the new tweak of the logos might be more trick than treat. For others, the refreshing of the brands may be a welcome change after all. When it comes to team branding logos colors, it's an exercise in personal subjectivity. Sometimes, as the case for him in 2019, it takes time for a name or brand to be viewed in a favorable light. The St. Louis Battlehawks instantly come to mind. People were kind of like, at first. Just for comparison's sake, we have the logos from XFL 2020 because they were the accepted brands that had built up equity. It may take time for new 2023 logos to be accepted. It's worth noting that the brands like the Roughnecks had to be tweaked because of copyright issues. So 2020, you got the Renegades, Defenders, LA Wildcats, bye-bye. Houston Roughnecks, Guardians, New York Guardians, gone. Seattle Dragons, now Sea Dragons, Battlehawks, and Tampa Bay Vipers. You can see. Now, he says he typically prefers not to have a knee-jerk reaction, and things tend not to age well if you don't take your time to look at something from all angles and let it process. That way of thinking and trepidation has made Mike Mitchell a mediocre at best social media follow. But you are not here reading to learn about his personal preferences or shortcomings, so even without seeing helmets and uniforms, which will be an accurate measure of the team's brand, present his premature rankings and flawed opinions on team logos and rank them from last to first. Feel free, of course, to disagree, and we'll have fun with all that. Now, on a side note, the secondary logos for the XFL brands were released this morning, independent of the league. Since then, the secondary logos have been pulled from various articles, mainly on ESPN, but he's kind of going rogue and kind of showing you some of these logos that you might not have seen anywhere else. So let's get started with the ranking. He's got at number 8, the Seattle Sea Dragons. One thing I want to notice, I think what a lot of the XFL was doing with some of their logos was actually trying to get the letter into the name. And that's why the Dragons went from the Dragons to the Sea Dragons, because you can see now the S in Seattle and kind of how the Sea Dragon works. So he says Seattle brings back their positive one. You can read his negatives. He gives basically a positive and negatives. Seattle being back period is a positive for the XFL. Same stadium, same city, same great colors, same name, kind of personal preference until it ends up on the cutting room floor. I dig the alternate logo, the trident with the letters S and D hidden inside. Can you see that? I can see it now. When he says it, I could kind of see the S. Oh, and the D. Yeah, I could kind of see it. That's cool. I like that. Negatives, he said, why? There wasn't a need to change anything to this brand. People will still refer to the team as the Dragons for shorthand. The C part will get lost at sea. That's a good point. But we will have to see Dragons if that is the case. So he's got it at number 8. That was not definitely on the bottom of my list. Let's continue. He said, and if you were going to tweak something, why use this particular dragon, which seems like a sea worm or seahorse? The XFL 2023 Seattle Sea Dragon needs to work on its training regimen, and he goes on to talk about sea serpents. Number 7, he's got the Vegas Vipers. I like this one. I would have this up there. Positive, the alteration of the Las Vegas Vipers worked. Colors are great. A lot of exciting brand possibilities with red-based Vipers, although many would characterize this as a leap. Vipers are commonplace in Nevada. The uniforms and helmet designs have a chance to be excellent. Negatives, I would have preferred an original idea for the Las Vegas market. The overall concept seems a bit lazy to him. It's the same issue with Orlando, more on that in a minute, but if you're going to play the recycle game, if any brand from 2000 XFL iteration would have deserved its return, it was the Outlaws. Perhaps tweaks to the Viper logo will win them over. There's potential there. Number 6, he's got the Orlando Guardians. That's the one that I would have. I'm with him. That would have been my number 8, is the Orlando Guardians. This is my least. I do agree with him. He says the positives, likes the color scheme. The neon green fits Orlando perfectly. The dark tones can make a great contrast. Can't wait to see how this is incorporated with helmets and uniforms. Guardians' name has always been a great choice because it encompasses more than just a single entity. The new Guardians logo looks more like a panther than the old gargoyles of Gotham. Considering the region, it works. Negatives, sometimes personal bias. As someone who covered the New York Guardians and loved everything about the brand, so That's why he's kind of He's saying some tri-state 2020 XFL loyalists may take to calling Orlando the Fugazi Guardians. All right, there. Be nice, guys. Be nice. Let's see. Number 5. I think this one is a really cool one. This would have been in my top 3, I think. I think I might get a Brahmas thing. Is the San Antonio Brahmas. He's got him at 5. I love the B, and I think this logo is really cool. The secondary logo is okay, but I think this logo is really cool. He says, one could argue that the bullhorn branding is overdone in pro sports, especially when it comes to Texas-based teams. However, I like the unique twist on the old trope. Its original logo is pretty cool looking, and I dig the colors. Brahmas have a chance to have the same Battlehawks absurdity appeal. I like it. I really like it. The secondary logo is not as neat as the primary. Agree with him there, but I get what they're going. Admittedly, I'm a huge fan of The Rock and lifelong wrestling fan, but it still feels strange for an XFL team adopting an aspect of Dwayne Johnson's wrestling persona. I know it was just a tattoo and nickname for the Brahma Bull, which I believe he covered over the Brahma Bull thing. And it's a significant brand for Johnson with Under Armour, but something doesn't feel right about the team leaning towards a league owner, but he'll get over it. I really like this one. I think I might be getting some Brahma merch. I think it's creative with the B and the face and the ears, the whole thing. Number 4, the Arlington Renegades. This one I would have put lower down on the list, in my opinion. But they still keep the old face, which is good. There's a lot of controversy shrouded in the brand's last go-around because simply they have so many Desperado, Renegade, Outlaw brands in sports that look similar to the XFL version, but keeping the team name is a win for me. The colors are great. Agree with that. The new primary color is sleek and clean looking. Negative, there's an argument that less is more, but somehow this branding looks pretty incomplete. Perhaps a safe bet is a good thing, but I'm curious how the new Arlington logo is incorporated on helmets. It's very plain with unique lettering. Replace the actual Renegades on the helmets. Yeah, it's kind of like meh with that one. DC Defenders at number 3, America's team. Oh, we do keep the shield, if you notice that. And the positives, this is on the secondary logo, but I love the D and the C together. I like the shield. I'm glad we get to keep the shield in some form or fashion, and I like the DC Defenders logo. I'm very happy with it. The overall brand, colors, names returning to Audi Field is a victory. For spring football justice, the returning Defenders was a no-brainer for the XFL in 2023. Although there are some tweaks to the overall look, it's very subtle. The new secondary shield looks like a pentagon shape. Oh, that's true too. Yes, it does. The DC primary logo was the team's secondary logo in 2020. The negatives. Although the league is resistant, making the secondary logo official, this would be foolish not to incorporate it heavily. Of all the team brands returning from 2020, the Defenders didn't need any tweaks to their primary logo. The shield with cross light boltings and stars was dope. Fits the region, and let's face it, carrying a shield is always excellent gimmickry for fans. Not sure the DC with the star studded is the primary, but that's a minor nitpick overall. Number 2, I agree with him here. Houston Roughnecks, I like it. They use the H to modify it so it doesn't look like the Houston Oilers thing. So NFL, back off. Back off, NFL. You already pissed Pat McAfee off today. They'll piss us off, too, at the XFL. The positives, it seems ridiculous to get nostalgic over the team that existed only 2 years ago. Perhaps that's the feeling heightened by watching former Houston Roughneck QB P.J. Walker throw 70-yard lasers for touchdowns in the NFL. But, boy, happy that the Roughnecks are back and that the changes to the logo are small. I always like the tip of the hard hat the Oilers in 2020. Honestly, because of the issues with NFL properties and Tennessee Titans / Houston Oilers ownerships, thought for sure the Roughnecks primary logo will be abolished forever. Not only is the H shaped like an oil rig remained with a sleek tweak, but the secondary logo had to be changed because of the New England Patriots. Remember them being all pissed off, thought it was hard hat logo was too close to the Flying Elvises. Is excellent addition. So with the H and the bracket gear thing. Negatives have to deep into this one. I'm unsure how the league will handle the silver color and the scheme. Silver gray was part of the overall look in 2020. There's some uncertainty there in terms of whether the main focus will be red and blue this time. And the number 1, as always, which has always been the best, the St. Louis Battlehawks. Yes, St. Louis, freak out. Now, the STL secondary logo is kind of meh. So the positives, of course, you get the bonus. But the XFL 3.0 would be dead in the water if they didn't bring back the Battlehawks. Name, sword, and wings had returned. League's best and most beloved brand. There was never a doubt, though, for some crazy reason, there was plenty of hysteria from the St. Louis crowd about a new name gracing the team, the Scooters. Some even dramatically assumed and speculated that the new XFL would abandon St. Louis altogether. The H in Battlehawks may no longer be capitalized, but it is capital, franchise, and city for the XFL in 2023. If you did notice that, the H is no longer capitalized in Battlehawks. Something interesting there. Secondary logo leaves a lot to be desired. I agree. Perhaps that can end up on the cutting room floor. It may not be very perceptive, but I don't see how the lettering style captures the market or brand. Is there an arch in there I'm seeing? Hoping XFL sticks with the same helmet design. But again, these were things that were put out there, then were pulled, so we don't not really sure about the secondary logo. And his final thoughts from Mike Mitchell. He says, we knew the names for a while because the league leaked them on their website. Actually, was on their shop site. And it wasn't groundbreaking scoop or news report. And for several months, the cities were reported by Mike Mitchell himself. We all knew the 2020 brands would return, and there would be new cities since the end of 2021. Anytime you introduce logos, names, and brands, they are bound to be criticized, especially at first blush. It's incredibly challenging to handle established brands from the same league, and it's almost a no-win situation. Time can be your friend and your enemy in this situation. As time passes, I think more will be comfortable with the level established with the XFL in 2023. Overall, he says he thinks the 2023 names and logos are acceptable. Much more look on keen interest to see the team uniforms, because without them, the team's overall look kind of feels incomplete, and style is important. But at the end of the day, the type of football league that the new XFL produces will provide the most relative substance of all. So what do you think? We'll go back one more time to Mike Mitchell's top ranking of the XFL logos. At number 8, the Seattle Sea Dragons. Number 7, the Las Vegas Vipers. The Orlando Guardians at number 6. The San Antonio Brahmas at number 5. Arlington Renegades at number 4. DC Defenders at number 3. Houston Roughnecks at number 2. And St. Louis Battlehawks at number 1. Give us your take. Rank those logos in the comments. Let us know what you think about the Renegades, Defenders, Roughnecks, Guardians, Brahmas, Sea Dragons, Battlehawks, and Vipers. There are your logos. Next up, we're going to have to wait for the helmets and the uniforms, and that should be coming soon. I would be surprised if we see some of this stuff before the XFL draft. What's up, XFL Army? If you're a fan of the XFL News Hub and you have a telephone, which I know all of you do because you're sitting there playing on your phones all the time, then why not download the XFL News Hub app? That's right, it's on iTunes. It's on Android. We have an Android version and an iPhone version of the XFL News Hub app. So what do you get? You get the latest news from XFL News Hub, the premier source of XFL news in the universe. Plus, you get push notifications when we have breaking news. You will be the first to know. You can leave a comment on some of the news right from your phone. Plus, you get this podcast on your phone as well. Remember, you can leave us reviews on the Google Play Store or iTunes. It links to other social media, our other social media accounts, and so much more. Be in the know. I know you're on your phones. People are on their phones all the time. They never get off their phones. So why not just download the XFL News Hub app on your Android or iPhone today? All you need to do is go to the Google Play Store or iTunes and just type in XFL News Hub. That's XFL News Hub. Download our app on your phone today. All right, my friends, we are back. We are back. What's up to everybody in the chat room? James checking in. Some good stuff going down this morning. Excited for February. Finally, team names and logos. Honestly, don't know if I would like the San Antonio. I love the San Antonio's one. I'm definitely getting a San Antonio's one and DC Defenders stuff as well. But I have to be one of the best logos besides the Vipers and Battlehawks. Let's see what else. Cyril says, gives us a thumbs up. Russ, the Battlehawks is the best logo. Agree with there. James says, I'm popular opinion, but I have to go with San Antonio even over the Battlehawks. I love both teams. James says, unpopular. Jared says, Georgia just killed the Gators. I went to the Gators versus LSU weeks ago. At least the game was close most of the game. LOL. Yeah. It was, but it was to be expected. We were just hoping that what it was, a 23-point spread or something like that. So we were just hoping to maybe get under that. And it was close for a little while there. They could have done it, but then they just pulled away. I'm going to Orlando in a few weeks, Electric Music Festival and a convention. I'll drive around to get to know the city. That's cool. James says the promo videos were pretty cool. I agree with that. Jared says, I'm surprised the Houston logo and name are the same. I thought they would have changed it. I agree too. Jared says, Orlando looks like a polar bear or Wolverine. Someone said saber-toothed tiger. Mike G said, I hope Vegas has more than that red and white. DC has that one covered. True. Let's see here. Who else we got in the chat? On Facebook, any rumors on Vegas Vipers home this year? From Brett checking in on the Facebook. Nothing yet. That's something that I've been putting out there. Like, if you go to, so that they have all the new Twitter things set up of all the different locations, and there is nothing on the Twitter for Vegas about what venue they're part of. So it is still not out there yet. And we're getting, I mean, we're almost at 100, days from kickoff. And I think, personally, I think that's might have been part of the holdup. As we get into these local activation events, we'll kind of find out more, what the deal is. But yeah, at this point, you want to start selling season tickets, and you can't because Vegas hasn't come through with their venue. It would be tough if all of a sudden the Vegas team had to play in Arlington to start the season. We'll have to find out. Mike G says, I'm in the minority here, but I really like the Guardians' change of color. They had the team of the old UFL New York Sentinels, who had a similar color scheme and different and cool. And Brett says they're still trying to get deposits in Vegas with no venue. I agree. I don't know. Jared says, I think I was hearing about XFL NFTs. I would be interested if I knew how to access it. I wish it was easier to see it. Especially now with the way crypto is kind of on the downturn. I don't know if we'll see any kind of NFT thing going anytime soon. That might be put on the back burner. All right, let's, we got a lot of other ones. We'll get to those here in a minute. Let's get to your social media stuff. Oh, first up, we have to point this out. My friends, we have to point this out. How's your boy doing in fantasy? I know you guys look to me, you think I'm this kind of genius savant fantasy or football person. I am not. I get players' names wrongs all the time. Say things wrong. I'm not that very bright at times. But look at this score, my friends. The number one team, Will's Wondrous, in our XFL News Hub Fantasy Football League. Will's Wondrous, the number one team, gets destroyed. Destroyed by me in ninth place. 194 to 135. Kyler Murray, Mike Evans, Adam Thielen, Christian McCaffrey, 40 points. Kenneth Walker got me 12. Evan Ingram, 15. Alvin Kamara, 42. And the rest is history. Destroyed this guy. I just needed to put that out there so you kind of guys respect me a little bit, okay? I'm good. I'm okay at fantasy football. All right, on to the social media. Let's quickly go through some of your reactions to this stuff. On the Facebook, David says maybe they should have another team in Texas. No, I think we're good with 3. Brian says, not only did I lose my home state Wildcats from LA, I lost the name too, LOL. I'm moving to Vegas, but I reside near St. Louis. I'll have to choose between the two. Got to go with the Vegas if you're moving to Vegas, but Battlehawks is always a good one. Kyle says, Sea Dragons, what a terrible name. Keelan says, Call is the law. Glad it's back. Me too. Daniel says, not loving the new logos for DC and Arlington, but glad they kept the names for 7 of 8. I suppose the Brahmas will grow on me. I like the Brahmas. XFL is extreme. Yeah, I like that too. Hopefully, James says, hopefully they put a team back in New York, New Jersey soon. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I'm surprised that they used the Guardians name. The fact that they used the Guardians name in Orlando makes me wonder if that is even in the cards. I was surprised by that. XFL QB assignments and draft stuff. Andrew says, man, I cannot wait for the season to begin. So tired of watching the Jaguars lose. It'd be really nice of having the XFL back. Hey, they're a lot better than last year's Jaguars. I'll tell you that. I think QBs need to be drafted. Brandon says, I think QBs need to be drafted going as what? I don't know what that means, but okay. Give you a like there. Mike Mitchell ranking the logo. Eddie says, no team in Los Angeles. I think those teams could return. And the XFL shop is open with merchandise. If you didn't notice about that, that's all up. Kind of bummed about the DC logo change. I thought it would have great branding last season. That said, I'm going to try and catch a game in person this season. That's Steve. Ron says, nice, but the hats are all sold out already. Yes, they had some kind of exclusive hats. I will throw a little conspiracy theory on you when it comes to, so they announced the team names. And then they said at 12 o'clock that the thing will be, this online store will be open. I was refreshing that thing. I clicked on that thing, and I clicked right on the hats because I thought they were cool, and it said it was sold out. I'm like, there's no way that they sold out that quick. I was just on it. I was there for a minute, and I clicked in it, and it said sold out, and I was like, that's weird. I'm just saying, maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of my vibe. There was some kind of special collector's hats, which is cool. They didn't really even talk about it much in anywhere else, that these were kind of, made a big deal out of it. But all the and I assume, and the other thing about when I looked at the store was that I couldn't find like the white shirts with the city names and the XFL the logo merch with the XFL logo. You had to go to shop all and then see all the merch, and it was in there. So it didn't have its own it doesn't have its own category yet. On to the Twitter. What do you guys think on Twitter about best and worst logos? Let's check this out. Rednecks Analyst says best is the Roughnecks, no bias whatsoever. Sea Dragons is my least favorite, gives little kid vibes. Man, I could see that. David Comer says Sea Dragons looks like a little kid plushie toy. Old logo would have been fine. Overall, I like a lot of what they did. Best San Antonio and St. Louis, I agree there. Love the remixes of Houston and DC. I agree there. Disappointed in the Vipers are essentially the same, though the weakest of the old ones. Orlando colors are fire. Philip at Wedge 77. I think they're all fine. I like the fact that the new logos for the old teams resemble 2020. XFL 2.0 gear is now throwback, and I love it. Solid B+ for me. Yeah, I agree. I think B+ is a good. That's a good thing. Jenna Reagan Jackal says best Roughnecks and Battlehawks, worst Guardians and Dragons. The Brahmas look like an upside down Bat Spirit Comatose. Roughnecks and Battlehawks, I'm with you. Mike Mitchell is the same way. Worst Guardians. I like the Dragons though. I'm not down on the Dragons. Guardians, I'm with you. That would be my bottom one. Zachary says Brahmas is the best. St. Louis and Houston were also great. So glad they're back with a minor tweak. Arlington, DC, Seattle aren't terrible, but aren't amazing. I like Vegas and Orlando. Brahmas, yeah, up there. All right. NYS_ZN gives us a list. Number 1, Guardians. Number 2, Battlehawks. Really? Guardians? Battlehawks 2, Roughnecks, Brahmas 4, Vipers, Renegades 6, Sea Dragons, Defenders at 8. Don't hate this. It's just my opinion. Interesting. Defenders is the worst? Guardians is the top? Really? Brahmas, DJ coming in there. Then Pudge Richardson says, I'm a Battlehawks fan, St. Louis, but I have to say that I don't care what anyone says. The San Antonio Brahmas name, logo, and color scheme is sweet. Really love what they did there. I'm with you. Garth says Brahmas is the best with links to Rock's nickname as well. Worst is DC. Looks too generic. How dare you? Sly says best is tied for the Brahmas and Sea Dragons. Worst is the Defenders. Oh my God, another one. But see, like this guy loves the Sea Dragons. I'm with you. I like the Sea Dragons as well. Diego Mendoza, the Brahmas, Battlehawks, Vipers. Vipers are the best looking logos. I'm with you there. Sea Dragons and Renegades logos, however, suck. Downgrade from 2020 ones. I agree. I would say Sea Dragons and Renegades are the Renegades. No, Guardians and Renegades, I think, are my least favorite. Alex Fort, best. Battlehawks, St. Louis rallied behind the brand 3 years ago. Got it back. Worst Arlington logo, feels uninspired, but not bad. Just blah. Better than the Washington Commanders. I'm worried about the Roughness logo again. I have a feeling Amy Adams Strunk's lawyers typing. What? Oops. Let's see here. Thank you for that. Uncle Denzel says the Battlehawks logo is slightly different. I agree, slightly different, but your merch is still good. Dennis says the Defender's shield, I miss it. It is part of the secondary logo, and I kind of like the new shield for the DC Defenders. Arion T says best is San Antonio Brahmas, worst is still Vipers, which still looks like you know what. I think I haven't know what you're talking about. Jerson, I live in San Antonio. I have no clue what a Brahma is. Isn't it like a cow? It's a bull, bro. It's a bull. All right, there is for your Twitter. On the Instagram. Juice Jackson 94 says no more Wildcats. And someone reach out to somebody. That logo needs work. Which logo are you talking about? Don't know about that. All right, let's get to your phone calls and so much more. Let's get to our first phone call, shall we?
So last thing, for unless you're going to use this for different videos, it doesn't matter. That's besides the point. So the Orlando Guardian. So I like the logo. I mean, I like it. You know, I like the logo. I like the colors. Looks good. Looks good. My problem is, what are they guarding? I hate the name. Why didn't they change it? Would have been better. Like, I don't know. Something else would have been better than that. I mean, they already got the Defenders. Defenders Guardians was pretty much, I don't know, I guess I would say that's pretty much the same thing. If you can understand that. Besides that, man, I mean, the logo was fine. That's the only thing that I like about the team. Just the logo. That's it.
All right. Thanks for the phone call. I got a lot of people making multiple phone calls, so I just took the last one and put it on there. So with the Orlando Guardians, he does have a point. You have DC Defenders, or defending DC. Who are the Guardians guarding, and what does the Guardian have to do with Orlando? So I'm with you. I'm with you on those 2 points, my friend. I'm with you on there. Like I said, it is not one of my favorite ones out there. Let's go to the next phone call.
Hey, Mark. So this is call number 3. Hopefully this is the one that goes through. And I will say this. I saw all the logos now, and I will say I think they all look really good. I like the takes on them, the twist on them. DC's, in my opinion, not even my favorite team. DC, I think, had the best over makeover. I really did. I thought it was really cool how they have, like, the DNC in there with the stars. I actually thought that one looked really good. I like how St. Louis basically say the same. I like how they tweak the Sea Dragons there. Little tweak, too, to the Orlando Guardians I thought was good. The one, though, team, my favorite team, though, that I'll be cheering on, the Arlington Renegades there, is just their logo. I don't know what it is. Like, when I see it, it doesn't scream football at all to me. Like, the rest, like, I can see on the helmet. The rest I can see looking good. But there's just something about that. Like, I think it, like, I expect to see that logo in the mail, like, hey, you've been pre-approved for this credit card, or this is your electric bill or water bill, or it just, I don't know. It just seems more like a company versus a sports franchise. Maybe it will grow on me on time, but that was the only one. It's like you didn't have to recreate the wheel on. You could have left it as is, kind of like they did with St. Louis there. That was the only thing I was a little disappointed with. It was like that. It just, so many different ways they could have had Renegade. I thought the one they just had in 2020 was the best. They didn't need to create the wheel. Don't get me wrong. I'm still going to watch the league. I'm not trashing the league. I'm just letting you know. Best logo I thought was DC Defenders. Again, not even my team, but I'll give them the respect they deserve. And the worst one I thought that just doesn't scream football at all is my team, unfortunately, the Arlington Renegades. But overall, I thought, 7 out of 8 logos look amazing. And the tweaks they made to them I thought were good. I'm really excited to watch it after the NFL this year. And hey, go Renegades! And
All right, thanks for the phone call. DC makeover. I'm agreeing with you. I like the DC logo. I'm with you there. Arlington, I'm with you too. I think that's my least favorite. That and the Guardians. I might even put Arlington as the worst because I agree. It was a good take. I like the take. Is it a credit card commercial? Is it a corporate business something? At the Renegades Plumbing or something like that. That was a good take. I like that. That made me chuckle. But yeah, that's my least favorite. DC made the top of your list. I'm surprised. You know what I'm saying? We see all different kinds of flavors. Some people are like, oh, it's the worst. Some people think it's the best. That's what we're just doing. Remember, this is supposed to be fun. We're just having a good time with it. All right, let's get to some of your emails before we hit our final phone caller and then wrap up the show. Let's see. Scott says if the XFL and CFL merge, we're talking about this rock stalled talks with the CFL. You have lost a supportive fan. We don't need the CFL and their crazy field and rules. Don't need the teams or Canada. The XFL can't survive on its own. It's better it goes away. Okay. All right there. Let's see here. Death of Kim cartoons. So I wrote this. XFL sends out a newsletter to fans prepping for what's to come. I also prepped the fans in there. I was like, relax. It's not that. Be thankful. Be happy. And this is the message I got. Quoting me, I said, be thankful for that. Chill out. This is supposed to be fun. It's not that serious. I got a comment that says, quit being a bleep. Also, where were you in 2021? I was playing XFL fantasy football in 2021, and I was watching the league in 2021. I was, where was I in 2000? No, I was working at that time. I had graduated college. The Death of Kim cartoon. Quit being a jabron. It's not that serious. I have to say that all the time. I get so, we get a lot of people people are just who comment a lot on social media are typically just angry people and this is like their outlet. It's like a psychological thing. And I always have to remind people, relax. It's not that serious. This is supposed to be fun. If you get annoyed or you're upset or you're angry at things all the time, pretty much your life sucks. It's better and more fun to be happy and chill than to be angry all the time. We live in a society that's full of just angry people that want to get angry. It's starting to chill out a little bit because we're coming out of what. But I always want to remind fans, sports are supposed to be fun. That's why I watch Pat McAfee, because the show is fun, and that's why I don't watch some of the old farts that do the argue TV thing. I just can't deal with that because I'm like, why get all pissed off about sports? And that's what ESPN does, though I have heard that they might be moving away from that style. That's why I don't watch TV news, because they just yell at each other. Why would you want to do that to yourself? Men, why don't you just punch yourself in the balls if you're going to be upset all the time? Ken says, I'm more excited about the USFL revival than the XFL. Oh, my goodness. Kenneth, settle down. I'm sure you were happy. Remember, this comes off the heels of the newsletter. People were like, they put in another newsletter. They didn't say anything. No, they were prepping you, saying, hey, it's coming. And then they hit it. Then they hit you with it. They hit you with the season tickets. You got the logos. You're going to get more stuff this week. It's rolling, baby. We got schedule, uniforms, draft, all this stuff coming out. I think we'll get a lot of stuff between now and the draft. So settle down. It's not that serious. Have some fun. Today was fun. I love seeing you guys' responses to that stuff. And I'm excited to what's coming this week. We have these events. I'm going to be at the DC event. We got Pat Ruffino is going to be in the St. Louis event tomorrow. A lot of our guys are going to be at all of these events, so you'll find out who is the XFL News Hub writers are going to be at all these events reporting back, so you get to say hello to guys like Pat tomorrow. And I'll be there Thursday. Apparently, there might be a change of schedule with stuff going on, and I'm like, I have to go to this event. I'm going. Me and my wife got to go, but I don't know. There was some stuff that came up, family stuff, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I've been trying to go to an XFL event, and every time I'm doing nothing except that day. That's happened every time. Don, checking in Kakal, my friend. Kakal, to you. You should be excited. He should be excited as Battlehawks are back. I want to say thank you for this podcast and love letters. You've done an excellent job of getting excited about potential news, but not freaking out when the rumor turned out to be not true, or at least unverified by the XFL. Yeah, this is stuff that none of this stuff has been verified by the XFL. So when it doesn't come true, why would you get upset about it? Because you just want to be pissed off at stuff. That's why. The XFL 3.0 has not been hyped the way that I'd wish, but you have been calming voice of reason and asked for patience. These guys are business guys. Why? Half the time when you see people being pissed off, because it's just generally angry people online, first of all. Second of all, nothing's ever good enough for them. What if they put the logos out a month ago? It would have been great, but it just didn't work. This doesn't mean that they're not playing, and that was my point in the article that I wrote. It just means that, things are taking time. It's fluid. I'm just thankful that they're back. My friend told me a great story the other day. So he was listening to a podcast with his son. It was Joe Rogan and Anthony Kiedis, and this is a new thing. And so Anthony Kiedis had talked about how, when he's on the road, and if a roadie screws up, or like if he's at a hotel and the thing that he wants in his hotel is not there, he was always would get pissed off about that stuff. And as he's gotten older, he's kind of realized, and he kind of tells himself, he's like, be thankful, life is good, don't be a bitch. So that's been kind of our little funny mantra over the last couple. And when he told me that story, I think that's great. And we kind of tell each other all the time, like, if something is pissing you off, you're like, overall, you got your health, you got a good family, wife, whatever. These things are going on. Life is good. Overall, it's good. Don't be a bitch. So I'd like to try to be the calming voice of reason. Relax. It's coming. It's a little frustrating, but life is good. The XFL is back. That's what we want at most, for opportunities for players, coaches, and us to cover the league. Don't be a bitch. All that being said, I may see the light at the end of the tunnel. I received my email about season ticket sales. The alarm is set for Monday at November 7th at 10 a.m. He said, my buddies and I were able to coordinate and get seats together in XFL 2.0. I'll let you know how successful we are. And XFL 3.0 deposits for St. Louis teams are at the 15 to 16,000 number right now, hoping and expecting to fill the dome for the first home game. So he's at that 15. That is a lot, man. As for local announcement parties, we're doing something wrong because I have not received any sort of invitation on that yet. I say there is a local sports bar, Village Park, that is planning a league draft watch party on November 16th, depending on if and when the details are released. That is all for now, my friend. Look forward to hearing more official news. Don, checking in. Thank you, Don. Well, you got if you go to Twitter and check out the XFL team, social media has been on fire today. They've been posting stuff all day. The XFL, the St. Louis XFL Twitter showed the location for that event. So I think they're seeing kind of gauging what I haven't gotten anything as far as I RSVP'd, but I haven't gotten anything yet. And their event is tomorrow. So I think they're just basically being like, hey, if you want to come, just come. We're not, too concerned about numbers or anything like that. So Don, hopefully say hi to Pat if you go to the event. But I just retweeted it a little while ago where the event is tomorrow for St. Louis to meet Coach Beck and hang out with your fellow Caucasians there in St. Louis. Can't wait to come out to a game with you guys. About Mike Mitchell's ranking the names and logos. Arch checking in. Says pretty spot on with these assessments, Mike. I feel like the Brahma is an ego trip for DJ, which I'm not super keen on. And I think that after saving the XFL, it's a bit of a legacy thing for him. So I won't complain too much. I like the Brahmas. That's one of my favorites. I think Battlehawks, Brahmas are two of the coolest ones in the league. Is Arlington keeping the original Renegades logo as a secondary? And we saw that. The Brahmas secondary logo is absolutely abysmal. I thought it was okay. I'm with you there. Guardians color scheme is dope. See? I mean, I like the color scheme, but the Panther theme doesn't fit the Guardians. Orlando, Lion Cats, or something would have been better. Something feline, at least secondary logo is generic as well, in my opinion. He says, I'm really digging the Vegas Vapors with the blood red color scheme. I'm with you there. Roughnecks actually improved a little bit. The secondary logo works great too. Battlehawks is still great. Alt needs to be thrown out the window ASAP. I agree with that. The alt logo is, man. But we'll have, like Mike Mitchell said, we're going to have to see what it looks like on the, with the uniforms and stuff. I get what they're trying to do with the Sea branding and Sea Dragons, considering the Seahawks and the Major League Rugby team is the Sea Wolves. So I don't hate it. Original Dragon was much fiercer, though. Alternate logo is fantastic. I agree. That alternate logo in Mike's article looked really cool, too. There's my rundown. If you agree with that, I can't wait to see what these look on uniforms. Excellent article, Mike. Yes, of course. As always, the great one, Mike Mitchell. We'll take one more phone call, then one last email. We'll wrap things up with, let's get our final phone call.
Also, really quick take from James here. Quicker than my last voicemail. I don't know if you'll get to both of these, but I really hope you do. Anyways, I've been seeing a lot of comparisons to the USFL logos and the XFL logos that we just got this morning and other spring leagues as well. And I'm not about to dive into that. What I am about to dive into is simply what I feel like a lot of us in the spring football community have to say, which is no matter what league and logos and all that, just support them. These players are taking a huge risk by trying to get into any of these leagues, and they're also taking a huge risk by trusting that the management and everything will have these leagues on a solid foundation. And so please just support these players, man. They're trying to live out their dream. And so I'm just a fan of alternative football in general. That's why I'm such a fan of your show, because all you do is give the facts about what's going on in these different leagues, and you let other people decide. Yes, we have discussions and stuff, but all the discussions on your channel have been so respectful. And let's just keep it that way. Let's keep it civilized. I know that a few people have had problems with the logos, and they're like, oh, this is why USFL is better. But, we shouldn't compare, because the more coaches that get a second chance, the more players that get a second chance, the more stadium workers that have jobs. This is just good for people in general. So let's just enjoy it. Have fun with it. Anyways, love y'all. Love the show. Thanks again.
All right, brother. Love you too. Appreciate the phone call. Yeah, just listen to the guy. Support the leagues. That's really at the end of the day. Life is good. Don't be a bitch. He's saying the same thing too. And life is good. We have the XFL. We've got the USFL. Indoor Football League. We want to buy a team one day. Fan control football. Are you excited about fan control basketball? I'm excited about that too. I've been watching NBA games. I was away on my trip, and I'm sitting watching the NBA games. I'm excited about the Knicks. They're looking pretty good. They're pretty decent this year. I'm excited about that. So, it's just a lot of fun things going on. Plus, you got the NFL season. So, and the CFL season, we got the playoffs. Hey, Mike Mitchell's Argos made the playoffs. Exciting times for that league as well. So, all in all, it's been fun. And remember, at the end of the day, sports is fun. It's just something that I think that we've kind of forgotten when it comes to sports. It's supposed to be fun. And like I said, that's why I watch Pat McAfee and I don't watch any other shows, because they're all just negative, pissed off. And Pat has a good angle to things. So I appreciate him there as well. All right, final email. Get this last one in. Jim checking in. Finally, thanks for the XFL News Hub. Battlehawk fans are clear to engage. Coke Beck is fired up, so that means Battlehawk fans are fired up too. All the best, and God bless Jim from Battlehawk Nation. Jim, God bless to you too. And make sure you say hi to Pat Ruffino tomorrow at your event, your activation event. We got activation events on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I should have known. When I saw this dropping, I was like, you're so silly, Mark. You should have known that they were going to do something on Monday before the activation events. When there was one coming happen on Tuesday, I was like, should have done that one. Anyway, all right, back to the chats. Let's see. Richard checking in. I really like the logo. Can't wait until the uniforms come out. Where is Vegas going to play? I don't know. That's the whole thing we've been trying to find out. Hey, by the way, if you're still watching, smash that like button. We got to get this thing to 60 likes, will you? Please, let's get it to 60 likes. That's always the goal. Got to set the goal somewhere. There it is. Russ says, go Battlehawks. Aldo says, let's go DC Defenders. That's right, America's team. DC Defenders. Mark Brennan says, the merchandise sucks. Did you notice the shirts actually had the XFL logo at the bottom? I thought that was kind of cool. Not a lot there yet. My thing is I was going to wait until the activation event in DC and I get my season tickets because you get 20% off, broskies. And what do you think? Did you see the thing about the football? I think they used the old description, but could you imagine that the footballs were colored? Like when they played a Battlehawks game, it was a red football. And if you played the Brahmas, it was a black football. And it's got a kind of texture to it. I mean, I wish they'd come back and use these footballs. I mean, they worked and spent a lot of money on these footballs. And I really hope that they use this design, go back to the same company. I think it would be awesome. But having colored balls be kind of interesting. DC Defenders is a red one. Maybe Arlington has got that blue one. That would be kind of cool. Going back to the old school XFL days when they had that black football. I don't know if that was a mistake. We'll have to check on that as well. Ardo says, yeah, where is Las Vegas Vipers play? Sam Boyd is closed, and maybe Las Vegas Raiders don't share Allegiant Stadium. I don't know. Talking about this hats being sold out. Let's see. Russ says, is the DC Defenders beer snake returning? Absolutely. I was telling my friend, I was like, you just got to go just to make the beer snake. I don't even drink beer. I'll drink a soda and put it in the beer snake. Like that thing is going to be the beer snake, the first game for the DC Defenders. That beer snake is going to be resurrected to the top of the stadium within the first quarter. Everybody's going to want to do that. It's going to be fun. Russ says Zoa Energy Snake. Yeah, that could be that. Let's see. I got a lot of messages. Rangers King 669. I'm willing to accept that it's possible that Vegas is just a traveling team. I hope not. Every XFL team is traveling away to their home markets anyway, so the only disadvantage is the crowd sure beats playing in an empty Arlington Stadium. Let's see. The Snores 34. My hope is that the USFL and the XFL merge. That would work, in my opinion. Your thoughts? I think one day, the USFL is the slow growth as much as they get criticized, and I have to remind people constantly, like that's kind of their plan. They're not. But you notice that the people who complain about the USFL are the ones that also complain about the XFL. Do you see a parallel there? Do you see a parallel? Yeah. So I don't know. They're going to wait and see if the XFL blows all of its money and shuts down, and they just I think they're going to chill on the sidelines. In 3 years, yes, I think something could happen. Yeah, we talked about the hats being sold out. Herb says Brahmas for sure. G Money says McGinnis. How? I don't know what you're talking about there. Nicholas says I will still root for the Renegades, but the new logo feels like a downgrade. Agree with that. App says I hope they bring back the original Dragons logo. The new one looks weak. Rookie says we got the logos. Next need the uniforms. I think our hope might see them during the draft in November 6th. And that's November 16th. That's on my birthday. That's rookie_X4. That's his birthday on November 6th. What a good birthday present by getting some XFL logos and that kind of stuff. Elusive Poet, people act like they can't improve logos later. This is a very good point. Elusive Poet, very growth mindset of you. I appreciate that. Depleted Mind, Brahma Country, let's ride. I like it. I like the Brahmas. DJ K4Cast says, Go Brahmas, just locked in some season tickets. Cool. Corey says, we need an XFL mock draft based on the 2020 standings. That would be hard. There's just so many names out there. From Facebook, Nate says, excited about the return of DC Defenders. Very much looking forward to what is to come. Good to see the buzz today. Yes, a lot of action on the social media stuff about today's season, or the XFL announcing the stuff. I saw Pat McAfee briefly talked about the XFL stuff coming. So I'm sure there will be more. And you notice ESPN produced a segment. I would assume that appeared on ESPN throughout the day today. All right. That's it for this part of the show. Be part of the show. Email podcast at XFL News Hub with your thoughts. Record an MP3 or video on your phone or play a voicemail 888-430-7692 extension 3. We appreciate that. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and watch us live XFL Weekend Review at 8 p.m. Eastern every Monday at 8 p.m. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Again, Russ says, Mark originally said it would be the Zoa Energy Snake. The Zoa Energy Snake. There you have it. We'll call it the Zoa. Man, if everybody in that stadium had to drink a bunch of Zoas to get that thing to go to the top, each stacking those cans, they would go crazy. But I like Zoa. I actually have been drinking it a little bit now. Get a little caffeine kick in the day. Get me going. You know the deal. All right, my friends, that is it for me. Enjoy. Hey, I appreciate everybody hanging out on Halloween. Go hang out with your kids. Hang out, have some candy, watch some football, and stay tuned to XFL News Hub. We'll see you out at all these local activation events. I'll be there Thursday. So I'll be there. You know what I look like. I'll be wearing I don't know what I'm going to wear. I don't know what I'm going to wear. Rangers King says, Terramana Spike Zoa. Ooh, that would be a heck of a combo. Like Red Bull, vodka, Red Bull. That's not a bad idea. Don't try it at home. They will make you go crazy, I'm sure. All right, that's it for me, folks. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your Halloween. Let's see here. That's it for me, folks. As always, God bless. Thanks for tuning in. And we will see you all later next week.